Hey, do you want to prepare the game but not sure where to start? Today we will look into the iterative approach that you can use to learn the character movement and how to prepare art for the game. Let's get started.
Change my drawing from keyboard. Realign my mic. Or my speaking mode, not a drawing mode.
As of last year, I did not draw anything at all, so it took a while to figure out how to design the character, make a drawing, and make a character to move was a whole different beast. The bear started as a smaller character because original concept included all character to be about the same size. But in the end, I decided that it's much more fun to play with different heights, so I started to develop the heads based on that. When I was happy with what I got, I moved to the body, and the body is really just a beanbag. What was important here is to have kind of a furry, muscular arms and claws instead of the fingers because I found it funny to play with it, especially if the character is gonna use the keyboard and try to type with it like it's very fun. After we finish with initial design, you need to move to the rotation phase, and in here things went a little wild at the beginning. Everything moves around until I understood how to make it work properly, which I will cover in a separate video. Today let's concentrate on how to create a walking cycle from existing character turnaround. As you make in your legs, a critical thing to pay attention to is the line in the center of the character, which your leg has to cross in order for your character not to be sliding on the ground. This is very important things that I noticed. If you put your leg not far enough from the previous frame, it will definitely look like your character is just sliding on the ground, which you can use, for example, if your character is ice skating, but you don't want to use it for the regular running. Arms are even more tricky, especially when the character is rotating to the different areas and orientations. Because of that, I do recommend to create just a crude 3D model for the arm reference. It is straightforward to put a couple of cylinders and circles together to represent different parts of the body, and it gives you very good reference for your art. After that, you can pull 3D images that you created inside your art, use them as a reference, and just resize the different parts of the body in order to match the size that you need. That will allow you to have this crude and rough models that will look kind of awkward, but from this point you can add the mood you want for your character. So is it more aggressive? Is it more stiff? Is it more relaxed? And you can build on that because your basic is there. Something to pay attention when you are cleaning the character is to make sure that you don't have too much of a jump between different frames, otherwise it look awkward. Make sure that all parts of the body are working, all your tails and shoulders and belly and everything that you want to move is moving on every single frame, because when it comes to walking and running animation, this is something that people will see a lot, so it's important for this to be high fidelity and very high quality, or put a lot of effort in it. A couple of cleaning iterations later and you will have something that is very presentable and can be functional in a 3D world. The way my turnaround is rigged is we have the art for all the straight directions, so front, back, left, right. We have 4 diagonal directions, and for every single one of those we have 8 frames of walking cycle, and each view takes 20 frames to complete as a result. So you can see that the frame 1 to 20 would be the front views, where we will have our frames of walking and 2 frames of standing, and the same will be true for all other orientations. The reason why it's important to keep it consistent is because we can go ahead and export our art. In case you're using Adobe, not a Flash, you can just press File, Export, Export as a movie, select PNG format and name your file, hit Save, and all your frames, which supposed to be 160 frames, will be saved in a folder as a separate pictures. And you can develop the script with automation, which we will review at the end, in order for you to just grab all those frames, rename them, and save them in a separate folder, and just keep updating them in Unreal or other programs that you use, and just keep pulling them into your 3D world as you continue to develop your character so you can test it and play with it. I put separate video on how to take this art and put it in a 3D world with Unreal Engine in a separate video. So thanks for joining, because I'm pretty sure that most of the people will not be interested in coding this much, but if you are, let's review this now. I will not be publishing this code because it's really very simple and you can just replicate it by yourself, and most of it is really naming your folders and files. You can see here that we can use two variables, ones that we use for our input folder, our file convention. We have our output folder where we do want to output our files, and we go for iteration from 1 to 160, which is our number of frames. If you're having something different, adjust this number. And we're just going ahead and copying the item for our front, for our right front, right pro, right back, etc. for all the views that we have. And we just use +2 for our eye to understand where the next file is gonna be. And the toString 0000 is our file format. So you can use based on what programs that you're using the script, because you're created it once. And now when I'm creating someone who is not a bear, I can just go ahead and change my input folder from bear master to bunny master, and the output folder to bunny, and my bunny is ready to go and ready to be rigged in Unreal. And I will be continue to using that with all my other characters. Hope it will be useful for you. Cheers.
You can touch this. Dun, da-da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. You can touch this. Dun, da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. Okay.